one of the new tracks. It'll be coming out later this year. You know. Okay, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was if you guys saw my last YouTube video I did with that guy named Mac, there's another collab with him. It's actually another one of our songs. All right. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Okay, cool. What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good today. Today, real quick, just so, as I drop my pen, just so you guys know, because I don't want to ever waste anyone's time on these workshops. Workshop, like what we're going to be covering a lot today for me, it's going to be a lot of like, I called it Metronome Madness today. I'm going to be showing you guys like what's a metronome exactly, what's it for, because you hear everyone say it, and if you guys probably reach out to people, I say it too. When people hit me up, I'm always like, people will be like, hey, Kindo, I have a new combo. What? I'm like, use a metronome. But like no one really breaks down like what to do with it. So I'm going to break that down a little bit today. I'm going to show you how to do some basic counting, which it's not really basic. It's going to help you a lot in the long run. I'm going to show you how to freestyle a little bit with it. I'm going to show you how to practice your combos. Today's Metronome Madness. This is literally going to be a ton of stuff with the metronome. So if you don't want to listen to that stuff, or if you're like, I already know how to do this, like, just letting you know. So that's what today's going to be covering. So we'll be doing this for like a little hour, maybe a little bit over. And then I'll answer you guys' questions like always, and we'll have a jam after. And yeah. So first thing with today, what's a metronome, right? So metronome is obviously the thing you hear that, hold on. It sounds like this. Let's see if I can get that a little bit louder. There we go. Can you guys hear that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Just checking. So you hear all it is it's keeping your tempo. So if you want to go faster, you can make it go faster. And if you want to slow it down, you can slow it down and really slow. Okay. So I'm personally using the one that is off my loop station. However, you can get an app. You can also literally buy one, or it's upside down. You can actually buy one. So you can do a ton with these metronomes. You can buy them. Like I said, they're free. You don't have to. Yep, Google too. Google as well. Like you don't need to buy one. I was a band kid back in the day, so I've just always had one. But yeah, so you can do it. Like I said, metronome. If you have a loop station, a free app, any of that. So just keep that in mind. But yeah. So that's the first thing for sure. Is just get a metronome, look it up, it's free, all that. I would say for now, set it to your tempo is also called your BPM, which stands for beats per minute. That's what BPM stands for. A lot of people don't know that. So set it to 120 for now. So it should sound something like this. There we go. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Congratulations, you know how to use a metronome. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's just the basics of using a metronome. So there's that. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is kind of like I said, setting yourself up to actually use this thing. A lot of people I think are just like, oh, he told me to use a metronome. Okay. And they don't know what to do. So first thing to do is start counting in fours. If you've never counted any type of tempo, just start with a basic one. Start with fours. Yes, there's 7/8 and 5/4 and all the odd time signatures that you hear beatboxers like Skiller and stuff do. But for now, let's just keep it in 4. So you're literally just gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your basic tempo. So for example, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I'm saying? So a lot of beatbox stuff tends to be in 4. Even if you hear a lot of like the quicker stuff and they're doing like all that crazy stuff that you hear the tech stuff, like all the tech beatboxers do, even that like stuff like that, like watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Like it's all in 4s. See what I'm saying? So just work on 4s. A lot of people I think don't pay attention to that part. A lot of people are just like, wow, he's beatboxing fast. Like, wow, that sounds really good. They don't think of like the tempo, and then that tempo, you hear that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hear all the space. So for example, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. there's a lot of space. You can 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4. There's all these things you can do. So now you and all these little things you can fill into your tempos. Okay, so always keep that in mind when you're practicing / freestyling or even listening to someone. Try counting in fours. If you can't and it feels really weird, they're probably doing an odd time signature, but a lot of beatboxers tend to do stuff in fours. Like, I can give you example to example to example. Like, just to give you super contrasting styles, but everyone's kind of in 4. Like Zero, his last wild card, he does like the like this. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, a little bit slower, my bad, but there's that. Let me speed it up just a tad for you. So like, I'm gonna speed it up just a tad. So like, everything's in 4. We a bunch of headbangers, whoa, yeah, whoa, one, whoa, yeah, whoa, fire, whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah, real rhythm goes like boat, yeah, chomps, yeah, chomps, yeah, chomps, yeah, chomps. See what I'm saying? Like, anything you do tends to be in 4s. Not trying to call every beatboxer out, because there's definitely people who do the odd time signatures, and those feel really weird, and they take a while to really get down, but just a good spot for you guys to start is 4s. Okay, all of us, as you guys can see, do 4. I do it. I'll call myself out. Sorry, that's rude. I'm calling everyone else out but myself. So, right, everything's in 4s. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's the first thing, is start counting in 4s. Okay, now once you start counting in 4s and you're like, okay, cool, I'm starting to get the hang of this metronome thing, start freestyling in 4s. So even if you do a boots and, like, you heard me do a real or whatever I did, like, that's fine. You can keep, or I'm like, turn this back down to 120. Sorry. So you can, that's fine. Like, you don't need to just like start off like, you don't need to like 3, 4, like start it off. You're just starting I always tell, this is my biggest tip of advice for you guys. Like, out of any of the workshop stuff, always start everything simple. I tell my beatbox students this. I tell people who hit me up. I tell everyone this. Like, I think everyone hears the picture or hears what we want to do. You know, you hear like the all that, but you haven't done the steps to get there. So for me, even if I have like a brand new sound, I literally will sit there. Like, let's say like is my new sound. I won't just like I won't just go off. I literally will like, I will start it basic and build it and build it. And but same thing with this tempo stuff. So if you're new to metronomes and like this is a brand new thing for you, you don't need to start off going ham. Start off just boots and cats and 1, 2, 3, 4. Add the hi-hats. Like, just kind of, see what I'm saying? I'm not really going ham and going nuts, but it's like the little bit of kind of counting the 1, 2, 3, 4. I get that vibe and that bounce in my head. I can hear it, you know, and then just freestyle with it. So even if it's booze and cats, you can end up coming up with some pretty cool rhythms and stuff, and then you can mess with it there. So like, see what I'm saying? Like, just kind of mess with it, sit there, freestyle, work on it. I do this still. I think a lot of professional beatboxers are still doing this every single day, I would hope. It's how you, also another thing, it's how you help with your tempo. If you're having if you're having like routines and you're doing tournaments and you guys, maybe some of you are like, you know, doing your thing, it's going good, but then some judge is like, oh, your tempo was off, or that's another thing for this, because that click doesn't change. It's not going to slow down on you. Like, if you don't slow it down, it stays there. So if you're practicing and you're on, like you're like and you're like struggling and like not fitting that, but well, the click didn't change. So like, that means you're off, you know? So it's kind of, for me, like, I like the metronome a lot, because when something sounds wrong, I'm like, oh, it's me. Like, there's no excuse. There's no like, oh, the metronome, the Wi-Fi shut off and my metronome slowed down and acted like, you know, rude. And no, like, it's you, you know. So I really like the metronome. I tell literally all my students all the time to always use a metronome. Like if any of you guys are my beatbox students, I'm always like, yeah, work this on a metronome. Yeah, work that. Hey, I don't mean to sound repetitive, but work this on a metronome. Like I'm always saying it. And like I said, I don't mean to sound like I'm repeating myself, but it's what I do. Like when I'm sitting there and I'm like doing a routine or a drop and I'm just like, wait, this doesn't sound right. Metronome. You know, when I have a new combo and I'm like, they could be quicker or I could be cleaner. Metronome. Like the metronome comes into play all the time. So just keep that in mind. But yeah. Sorry, I was just reading the chat, making sure everything's good. Okay, so yeah, that's like the main thing. Fours. Okay. Like I said, start freestyling at fours. Last thing I kind of want to show you real quick. Let me show you two more things. I want to show you how you can mess with your sounds / your combos, and I want to show you how you can use different styles at the same tempo. I think a lot of people mess that up, and they kind of limit themselves. So for example, I think that, like, how to explain this? So I think a lot of people, for example, like drum and bass, everyone just thinks it has to be like super, super, super upbeat and like just go off, and it's like you can do more with it, where you're doing more like either grooves, or you can even make a drum and bass that's just slower. You don't it's the standard, you know, but I think a lot of people mess that up where they just hear like grime and they just think it's super quick. It's like you can do different things with it. So let's start with the styles real quick. So when it comes to styles, you need to remember I was telling you guys about the 4, like the 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we take like the same tempo, I'm gonna take a hip hop beat and I'm gonna do a grime beat. So sorry. All right. Oh, whoa. So both of these are in 4. They're still 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's the placement of the beat. So it's where you place it. So like listen to the hip hop. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 2 and the 4, the is happening, which gives it that feel. Right? When you have the grime, now it's not on the 2 and the 4. Like listen, if you count it. It's happening on what we'd call it the and beat. So you know how you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Another thing you guys can try if you want to start working more on your rhythms, start going 1 and 2 and 3. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, now it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. The ands are what we would call upbeats. Okay. So if you notice, the hip hop's like, it's on the 1 and 2. The grime is on the 1 and. So like 1 and 2. See what I'm saying? It's like 1 and 2. 1. So instead of being on the 2 and the 4, now it's on like the 1 and the 4. So, right? So little things like that is where you guys are gonna have to kind of really mess with it. So let's say you're trying to work drum and bass. You can do it at any tempo. You can do it really fast and you can. It doesn't matter the tempo. It's the placement of it. Okay, so if you just keep that in mind. So a lot of beatboxers I hear online, they'll be like, oh, grime has to be 165 BPM. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. So just keep that in mind. You guys can do any of these at any tempo. It's just how you place it. You know, so you can do grime and you can go off, or you can like you just have to find the placement of the beats. Okay, so you can do it any tempo. That's the one thing I just wanted to kind of clarify. Is a lot of people I think with styles think it has to be a certain tempo. Like I said, no. You make the tempo. It's just the style you gotta have to keep in mind. So if you're gonna try to go for drum and bass, you obviously can't go like you got to figure out the style. You know what I mean? You can't be like, I'm gonna do drum and bass, and you're like it's like that's hip hop. Wait, you know, so just kind of figure out your styles, really figure out, and that's the thing, listen to like actual music of like, let's say you're doing, I know I keep using this as an example, sorry, but let's say you're like learning drum and bass. Listen to drum and bass, listen to beatbox drum and bass, find the similarities. You'll hear it. Like you'll listen to like beatboxers, be like, ooh, and then you'll listen to like a drum and bass song and maybe they're singing and vocals on it, but you'll still hear like you'll still hear like that that groove, that drum and bass groove, where you're like, okay, that's drumming, like, okay, that's one of the grooves I can do, and you kind of have to mess with it there. So just keep that in mind. Last thing real quick, and then we'll go over some questions and stuff. Combos / working your sounds. So I'm assuming a lot of you guys have, so I'm not gonna repeat it. But if you've ever seen Alem does his metronome where he'll like work like, he'll do like I'm gonna speed this up a little bit, sorry. So we'll go to like 140. I feel like he goes quicker. He's insane. Let's go 150. So like you'll hear like Alem does like work your kicks, and he'll do like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and he does all stuff, and then you copy it. Yes, you could totally do that. I'm not against it. I just want to show you guys something a little different, because it's like he already did that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying don't do that, because I did that. I did that for my outward K snares with Alem. I was like, God, these are hard. So, but just saying, you can also do this. So that was at 150. I don't know if that's the tempo I just know that Alem's always doing like really crazy, like he'll just like, and you're just like trying to copy it. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna go back to 120 real quick. Yeah. So, for me, I kind of do, like I said, I do that way in a sense. I kind of do it a little bit different, where, how does explain this? Like, I use it more for like, this is weird, because he does it too. He uses it to clean things up, but I use it more for like, rather than like single sounds, if that makes sense. I'm trying to use it for like multiple things. So I can do what he does. Like I said, I can, and that's fine. It's like, what if you have like, what if you have that and it's just not clean? Like this, like let's say you have that and you're just like, what the if that's like the case, that's what I'm saying. Like this is where the metronome would come back into play. So yes, obviously you could do what Alem does and you could on all of the metronome if you wanted to, but now you got to put the combo together. So for me, let's say like I'm trying to adhere and that's what I'm trying to get. But let's say the isn't happening, right? So I'm like, and it's just not happening. You're gonna slow your tempo down even more, and you're literally just gonna. So let's say the problem is so that's the problem I'm having. I'm gonna slow it down. So I'm at 120. Let's go down to 100. I'm literally going to. And like, this is a process. It is probably going to annoy some of you guys, and some of you guys are probably going to try this and then be like, no. And I get it. Okay, I get it. It's a process. However, like I said, I teach this to basically everyone I talk to. My students, I work on this a lot with, just because I really want them to be consistent. But this goes for really any of you guys. So what you would do, my rule, like Kindo's rule, is if you can't do it 3 times in a row, you don't get a move up. So what I mean is this. Let's say I'm going, let's go back. So we're at 100. If I can go, okay, I got one. Okay, yeah, kind of. Right. See, hear how the it was like, it was all short. Little things like that in my head. I'm like, I got to redo. So I'll sit there again and, okay, I got one. I got 2. Okay, cool, I got 3. So now I'm at 100. Now I'll go up to like 110. I'm gonna go up to 120. See what I'm saying? And like, I literally will sit there all day and just work it and go up 10 clicks. Oh, cool, I got it, and go up 10 clicks. Oh, cool, I got it, and go. And I will keep doing this. And for me personally, that's how a lot of people are like, your combos are really intense, or people will be like, your combos are like different. It's because I just took this sound and this sound and this sound and this sound and was like, I'm gonna turn this into a combo. I just had to sit there and like, oh, okay. Okay, wait. See what I'm saying? And you just have to sit there and work on it. Same thing. It sounds silly, but you guys know I love the teedlies. Same thing with those. When I first did them, they were very like sloppy and like that. They weren't like, that sharpness wasn't there. So I really had to sit there on a metronome and just sit, and then I had to start adding a beat and and just, you know what I mean? So it's a process, this one. It is a process. However, if you're trying to get cleaner, or if you're trying to level up your beats, or let's say you have like, let's say you're like Kindo, I have the ideas, but like I don't know how to get like full routines yet. This could also help with it big time, because now you're starting to hear the tempo. You're starting to count in those fours, like I said. Even the whole time I'm doing this, that's why I was waiting. That's what, you know, I wasn't just going, I wasn't just going right, because I'm still in my head counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, 4, 3, 4. So just keep that in mind. Always try to count in fours. At first, it is not going to be easy. If you work it now, though, it'll be easier in the long run. I worked it a ton when I was first starting beatboxing, because I was a musician. So I was like, well, in music, we count in fours. I have to be able to count in fours with beatbox. And that's when it literally changed my whole game up, because I was listening to Pancakes way back in the day. If you guys know that looper, I was listening to him and I'm like, and I was like, oh wait, they're all doing everything in four. Beatboxers are literally musicians. We're doing exactly what a like standard musician would do. Like, I was a brass specialist before I was beatboxing. I'm like, this is exactly what we call lip oscillations is buzzing. What we call counting tempo is your speed. Like, everything in beatbox is literally relative music wise, you know? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I really think this can help a lot of people. And I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't do it because it's a process. It's tedious. It's really annoying to sit here with a going off in your ear, or you're holding your phone and you're listening to, and you're just, you know, I get it. I totally get it. But here's the thing. I've been doing it for like 7 years. I've been beatboxing April. It's going to be 8 years. When my birthday shows up, it's like a week after my birthday is when I started beatboxing. So it'll be like 8 years. I have never changed anything. Like, I know I'm not the biggest name. I'm not like world champ or anything crazy, but like, I'm there with them. I'm competing with them. And like, how I've like stayed relevant, if you want to say, is just literally just worked on, like, stay original. Okay. And I'll break that down real quick in a sec, but like, stay original and like really work the basics. And you probably hear everyone say this, and then when they say work the basics, you think of like, I have the basics, bro. No. Like, I'm not talking about that. Okay. Like, what I'm talking about is metronome. What I'm talking about is your basic percussive sounds. All the basics, you know, your humming is everything in tune. There's all these little basics that a lot of people don't think of. Everyone thinks basics and they go, oh, boots and cats, tempo, pitch, relative pitch, uses of sounds. Like, there's so many different basic terms that you could really keep in mind that are going to help you in the long run that a lot of people sleep on. A big one is tempo. A big one is structuring. Not to go on a rant, I noticed a lot of the new school guys are coming up with like really crazy sounds, like sounds that I'm like, what? Because like, when I was on the come up, like, there was crazy sounds, but like, some of the stuff people are coming up, I'm like, geez. The thing that I'm noticing is like, there's these crazy sounds that are so cool, and if people just structured them a little bit better, it would be like beyond mind blowing. And people right now are kind of just going like pump with the pump, and then the drop comes, and then they just go crazy sound, crazy, and it's just like, whoa, it's just kind of a lot. So just keep that in mind, guys. Like, that's why, and I don't mean to sound conceited, but like, some of my routines that a lot of people like are not the hardest. It's just, I worked it on a metronome and I just cleaned it up. Like, let's see, like a lot of like that routine everyone freaks out about, and I just had to sit there on a metronome and just work it where I got comfortable. Another one, I don't know if I promise new YouTube stuff is coming, but I have if any of you guys have been hearing me lately, I have a duck grime routine, and there's a drop in there where it goes like and like that whole thing. Like, I had to sit there on a metronome and just sit there and speed it up and speed it up and speed. Now it's at the point where, like I said, just it's effortless because I've worked it so much now at this point. It's like, I got it, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of my routines aren't crazy. They're not hard. It's just, I took a technique, or I'm taking a rhythm or a pattern that's really hard, and I'm like, I don't have this yet, But if I'm working on a metronome, like I'm gonna get it, and when I get it, it's gonna be cool. You know, so you got to think of those things in mind if you guys want to. Not trying to make you guys beatbox like me. I'm just saying how, giving you guys my tips, like how I've been here for 7 years. How people aren't like, oh, that, you know, that's his signature beat. Like I don't really have a signature beat. Like I haven't done drop or anything. I'm always trying to innovate and start new things. And how am I doing that? The metronome. I promise you guys. There's times where, okay, real quick, last little thing, and then we'll go into questions. Vocal Total last year when I did that wild card, I literally that wasn't even a routine. I literally sat there on a click, and I was like, well, hold on, let me show you, because it's at 145. So I had it here, and I was like, what do I do? And I literally got annoyed, like mad that I couldn't, and I went like that, and I was like, wait, and it hit me, so I was like, oh shit, hold on. And like right there, that was literally how I started that whole wild card. Was just that, and I was like, oh dude, that's kind of cool sounding. And if you listen to that wild card, I create my, and that's where that came from. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Like, just I hope that kind of helps and give you guys a little bit of an example. I literally, that's how I come up with all my stuff. I sit there on a metronome. Something catches my ear, something catches my attention, and I'm like, wait, let me try this, you know, and I just kind of keep working it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, same thing with combos. Just slow it down. A lot of people don't want to do this, but slow it down, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. I promise that's how you'll get your combos to just sound really clean. And because of all the work you put in to get it that clean, it'll be effortless. It won't be like hard to do. You know, that's why a lot of like the breathing patterns I do, people freak out about. But for me, I've just done them for so long that it doesn't feel like I'm doing a breathing pattern. It's just like, this is just a combo now. Little things like that. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for the metronome stuff. Like I said, this year I'm trying to make workshops not 4 or 5 hours long. So I'm trying to sum everything up a little bit quicker than usual. But yeah, so I hope that helps you guys a little bit. Does real quick, I know some of you guys probably have some questions. Does anyone have questions about like the metronome stuff? Like I know I'll answer some of your guys' questions and stuff, but just checking there's no like how would you say this? There's no like metronome questions or like things you want to like know about the met or see about the metronome, anything. Just want to make sure. I have something off topic. That's fine. That's cool. Metronome is mad essential. Facts. Big facts. I think a lot of people sleep on a metronome. I see a couple of you guys typing, so I'm just gonna wait, make sure you guys are good. And then after that, we will go into your guys' questions. But I just want to make sure everyone got the metronome stuff. Everyone's good. I'm getting it, but doing it seems really hard. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. Like I said, the more think of it, and this sounds silly. This probably sounds really silly. Think of the metronome like a beatbox sound. Not every beatbox sound starts off just, you know what I mean? We kind of have to. Okay, and you have to sit there and experiment until you kind of get to that point where like you work the sound, now you're getting it, and now it's kind of easy to use. Like, you know what I'm saying? Metronome's kind of the same thing where it's like I said, it's kind of like a beatbox sound where when you learn it, you're like, this isn't easy. Then you do it, you're like, okay, I kind of get it. And then it becomes a point where you're like, okay, I know how to use this now. You know, it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, metronome is, I think a lot of people, like I said, sleep on it. It helps a lot with everything. Helps with precision, cleaning up your sounds. It makes you get louder. That's another thing. A lot of people don't realize that, but if you wanted to take your like, you could start pushing it, and then you just sit there and just spam that, and then you get that to the point where you can just, you know, things like that. But yeah, so real quick, Matt said how to do melodies on a metronome, and then Remy said same as a beat, count the melody in fours. He's not wrong. Very true. You can make a melody. So you obviously to make a real quick, I'll do this and then we'll go into your guys' questions. So to make a melody, obviously you got to use your, your voice or your, sounds. You got to use some type of pitch if you're making a melody. Melodies are not just like one note. Otherwise, in music theory, that's what we'd call like a drone note, because it's just a drone. It's flat. It's that one note. So melody, let's go. I'm gonna go back down to 120. I literally will make up a new one for you guys right now. Let's say we go. Yeah, so we'll go. Like that's a melody right there. So like it's all in four. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. See what I'm saying? So always count fours, no matter if you're doing tech, no matter if you're doing a melody. I don't care what you're doing, anything. And it doesn't, like I said, your whole beatbox career, I'm not saying you guys have to stay in four, that's it. I'm not saying that. But if you've never worked on tempo, if you've never worked a metronome, it's a really good spot to start. Real quick, before we get into the questions, CTB said he had some advice for you guys. So Caleb, I'm going to mute my mic, bro. Go ahead. Go off. You're good.
Yo. So just like in terms of like what Kindo was saying about just beats and people paying attention to like they focus more on sounds and like drops and things like that when they need that basic structure foundation first. Once you get that down, a great way to kind of get inspired to add like diversity on top of those basics when it comes to your drops and stuff, because everybody loves drops and everybody loves these things. Don't listen to dubstep. It's almost too chaotic of a structure at first, even though it sounds really cool. I highly suggest listening to rock and metal for inspiration when it comes to your drops,
drums,
and things like that. Because bass lines and the way that there's a relationship between your bass lines and your drums. If there's not a solid relationship between that, it's not going to hit. And the genres of rock and metal are so good for layering the foundations with those bass lines and the fillers and everything like that. It's absolutely like, and it's not too difficult either. There's like the guitar riffs and things like that. A lot of times they're pretty simple to reproduce with your beatboxing and your basses and things like that. And the diversity in the drums, which is a little different than say like hip hop beats and things like that, and the relationship to the riffs and things like that are really, really good for inspiration. So just like jump around the different genres, but that's a genre I would definitely suggest once you get your basics down, just to listen to for some inspiration. That's all.
Hitting you guys with the facts. I didn't even think about it. It's a really good point. I really didn't even think about that. That's like a really, really, really good point. It's honestly, see, this is what I'm saying. We need more, I hope more pros, and I hope the server keeps growing, because like more insight. It's amazing. I never even thought of like using, that makes so much sense, Caleb. Holy shit. That's crazy, bro. Didn't even think about that. Because that makes so much sense. I never even thought about that. That's so funny. I need to start looking at like old school rock stuff, because I look at like old school R&B and a lot of hip hop stuff. So I wouldn't even think about that. Jeez. But yeah. So there's CTB hitting you guys with the advice, and also not trying to plug them again. You guys notice I have a new logo? Did you guys notice that? Little Kindo. Just saying, if you guys need, not trying to plug them, but if you guys need a new logo, Caleb, bro, CTB is the man. Okay, the logo god, like no joke. Okay, check him out if you guys need logos or anything like that. Like, hit him up. That dude is crazy. I literally was like, yeah, man, I'm looking at getting a new logo. And like within a day, he's like, I got 4. He's like, I got 4 for you. I was like, Jesus. So dude is a boss. Just saying, if you guys ever need logos or if you're looking to get your own custom logo or anything, like hit him up. Okay. Not trying to plug him and go off, but like you guys have seen like Human Beatbox, or you guys have seen like Boston Beatbox on like East Coast, like all those logos, he did all those. They just, no one really knows. They don't really mention it. So I'm trying to help my boy out as much as I can. Because that dude's logos are way too clean. They're way too clean and they just look nice. It's not like he was on his phone, was like, yeah, what do you think? Like you could tell. I'm like, he really put some work into this. So just saying. Dude is one of my favorite beatboxers because he's so original. And then he helped me out with my logos in the last 2 weeks. And it's like, dude, thank you so much. So just plug in the boy. And the boy Kevin, he's still here. So plug in the boys. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there. So let's go on to the questions real quick. Let's see. First one was Chris. And sorry. Where's he at? Christopher. How do you spell? Thank you. I was going to say retype your question. Cause I know you typed it earlier. The chat's been blowing up. So you said, okay, so the question I have is that I don't have any ideas for making more routines cause I do not like listening to music. Wow. Okay. So what should I do? That one's interesting because there has to be a reason why you don't. There has to be a reason why you who put that? There has to be a reason why you don't like music. I'm not gonna, if you don't listen to music, that's fine. I would say for now, if let's say like and this happens, I think a lot of people tend to like, they'll be like, oh, I don't really listen to music. I listen more to beatbox. Instead, that's fine. Even if that's all you listen to, if like, let's say your ears are like limited to that, and that's like, this is all I listen to, Kindo. Like I don't mess with anything else. That's fine. But like, if that's it, then really break down like what you're listening to. You only listen to jazz. That's fine. So I would just break down jazz. I feel like a lot of people, if you've ever heard I don't want to call it, this sounds rude. There's an old school beatboxer named Sho. If you've never seen this dude from Japan, that dude is, I don't want to say he's a jazz beatboxer, but he's so smooth. It's like, it's very, and if you listen to jazz, like jazz is, there's a lot of those hi-hats and a lot of those hi-hat rides and the ride cymbals. Sho literally has, it's so accurate. So just saying, if you guys need to listen to, like inspiration, if you want to say, like that would be the one to check out. I would say at least listen to Sho. He has a lot of, like I said, he's not jazz, but it's very jazz-ish, if that makes sense. Very, very, very relaxed, yet it's like smooth beats. Very similar to that. And not to keep going off, but even with jazz, let's say that's all you listen to. Like even with jazz, I know they're swinging their tempos a lot, but even in a swing, it's still in 4. So maybe just be kind of different. And if that's like what you listen to, like maybe start swinging your beats. Not a lot of people do that. If you can swing in tempo, I mean, go for it. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah. But I want to be a multi-genre beatboxer, but I only like to polish my beats through jazz, so I listen to jazz to be more detailed. It makes sense. I'm not really, so let me give an example. I've never really listened to too much dubstep. Too much. Okay. Obviously I showed you guys a track earlier, like I have stuff. I just don't, it's not my main thing. However, like I still have drops and routines where it's dubstep-ish. You know what I mean? And even if, not to go against your thing, but even if you're not really like, even if you're not listening to a lot of music, like, and you're trying to get these new genres, like, hate to say it, but like, you kind of have to force yourself to just listen to those. It's kind of like when we have a beatbox technique and you really want to learn it, but you can't do it. You just got to start working it. It's not like it's going to just come to you one day or what. You still got to work it, still got to go through all the process, it's kind of the same thing. You kind of just have to like and like bite down on it and just like go for it, you know. So that would be the not to go against, because I know you say you don't listen to music, but that would be the best thing I'd say is listen to different styles. I think it really would help you a ton, especially if you're trying to get multiple genres of music. But yeah, next is Irk. Oh. Irk, I don't know if it. I don't know if you're speaking, bro, but like I can't hear you. It's just like TV static. Broke his mic. Broke it. Irk, you can type it. Did he die?
Hello?
Hey, there he is.
No, what? Oh, okay, finally. Okay, so my question is about sorry about that. Okay, so my question is basically how to get original. Now I can sometimes come up with the combo or something, or just a random combo pops in my head. I don't know if it's like if I heard a combo, but most of the time then I look back at it and like I'm 99% sure I've seen that combo used somewhere, or like generally it's not original. And like whenever I'm freestyling as well, like I can't ever like pretty much get something that seems like, whoa, no one's ever done that before. Definitely, like it always seems like it's at least like it's biting off someone. And one tool I've started doing is basically like my beatbox coach said, okay, so like you can't watch any beatbox videos for like a week, and like I'm trying to do that. Like I'm watching 0 beatbox videos. Like I haven't even watched the new battles. So I was wondering if that is an idea to get some originality, or if you have any other advice or how to get it original and like get your own combos and shit. And yeah.
So this is a really good one. This is a good one. Okay. So this is the best way I would sum this up. This is a really weird question. I don't mean it rudely towards you, Irk. I just, every time someone asks me this, I'm like, shit. The best way, and like, because I've been asked this a couple times, like the best way I would sum this up is this. If it's you, it's original. And I know you're probably like, oh, everyone says that. But like, what I mean is this. The first 2 years of beatboxing, like for me, or maybe 3, I really just did covers. Like, because that's how I got introduced to beatboxing. I saw all these people, I wanted to be them, and so I just worked on their stuff, you know? And it's like, that's kind of part of me why I can do, like, remember the Beatbox Nerd Challenges, Kindo? Like, that's why that video came up, is because I was like, I want to start YouTube, and I know I can cover all these people from back in the day, like, they're still here, like, so you can, covering is cool to a point, because then you get to a point like me where you want to actually compete, and then you're like, shit, like, now what do I do? Because you want to go compete and you can't. You have nothing that's yours. So whoever your beatbox coach is has a good point, because for like 2-3 years I was just listening to beatbox nonstop, and that's all I did. Once I finally broke away from that, and I kind of just had to, it sounds weird to say this, I used to watch beatbox and then go do the beatbox. Does that make sense? Like, I would watch someone like, and I was like, oh, and I would just go over, you know, an hour later, I'd be in my bathroom and I'm just trying to work it and learn it. See what I'm saying? Now I'm at a point where, like, I definitely watch less beatbox because I broke myself away from it. But even now, like, okay, yesterday I was on a live stream and I did the breakdown with Ping Pong Po and Syntax. We did the Dillip versus Zeka. Even that, it's like I don't know how to explain it. There's something about it now where it's like when I go to practice, it's like I got to do me. And I don't think of like I won't do this. I won't be in a freestyle. I won't be like when I hop, everybody hops, and when I flip, like I won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of people tend to get inspired by what they're listening to. You kind of, without thinking about it, you kind of just start doing, and then you get to a point where you're like, wait, I'm doing everyone else's shit. You know, so I would say for you, I would really break off. I know your beatbox coach already kind of told you that, but like really start doing this where like this is what I do. I definitely have I do basics. I don't have double voice or anything, any new school post there. I don't have any of the crazy stuff. And it's like for me, I can learn that, and I'm gonna kind of sound like everyone who's doing it right now, or I can kind of just do what I want to do, and hopefully I'm gonna sound like Kindo, you know. And like I had that problem, like I said, for years, where catastrophic beats sounded like everyone, you know, and like it wasn't really until this last like 2 years, like it really just because of how my direction was in the focus. Like I didn't focus too much on myself. I focused on like everyone else, you know. So big thing I'd say is focus on you. Listen to Beatbox. I'm not gonna say cut it off, but like I think a lot of people tend to listen and then practice right after. Like they literally like this. I'll listen and I'm going to the bathroom now. Don't do that. I think too many people do that, and they're just like, and that's what happens. Is like, I used to do it back in the day. Like that's why like some of the stuff I have, like okay, back in the like that's why you don't hear me do the that thing, because I'm like I remember like doing it back in the day because of inertia, and then like now I do it and I'm like that sounds so much like my boy Rome. Like I can't do, because like I battled him at World Champs last year, and he literally like he did something about me, but he was like yeah, and I was like oh dang, it sounds so much better than mine. You know, like I remember being like back in the day like learning the like dying just because it's inertia and that's so cool and I want to be able to do that. See what I'm saying? Like you have to break out of that and really start doing you, and like that's when you kind of start. It sounds silly, but that's when you're gonna start growing big time. Like 2020 for me was really weird. Well, hold on. 2020 was weird for everyone. Sorry, that made me sound like an asshole. But 2020 was weird for everyone. Like that year was lockdown and everyone was just like, damn. When I did the Odyssey battles, I think that's what got me so far. Like I got all the way to third place, and like I know I didn't win the whole thing, but I got I didn't even think I was gonna make top 16. I think I got there because I literally every week I would hear Vakota, I'd hear River, I'd hear these people, and I'm like, shit, do I do inward bass next? I gotta do, and then I'm like, whoa, like they're doing, let them do them. Like you got to do you how they're doing them, you know. So I would just be like, okay, you did lip rolls last week, so like try this week, and I just tried new things every single week, and that's kind of how I got so far. Is like I was doing me, you know what I mean? There was a part of me where I was like, oh, focused on them, but it's like I just had to redirect it. I was like, whoa, like, you about to lose yourself, you know. So same thing kind of goes for that. But I hope that kind of makes sense, Irk. I think a lot of people just how to say this, the passion is too close to practice. Does that make sense? Like I think too many people, like I said, I used to do it. I think a lot of people hear it and they're just like, and it kind of grow. That's like the seed of your idea, rather than the seed of your idea being like from here and being like, okay, like just trying something where you're like, okay, you know, just start working it. I think a lot of people do that way. But yeah, I hope that helped. Real quick, I don't want to keep going on a big rant, but Caleb, do you have anything to add to this about being original? I'm trying to answer this the best I can. I'm trying to figure this one out.
You're good, dude.
This one's hard.
Yeah, like this is far from an easy question to answer, because if you ask me, right? If you ask me, when you like being original and like how do you be original is almost akin to like how do you live? Like how do you be human? You know? But when it comes to what we're doing, it's like it's something that you cannot force. You cannot force originality, just like you can't force your own pubescence. You know, if you shoot a bunch of hormones into yourself before your body's ready to produce them, you might have some negative effects. It's the same as like trying to dive in and force certain things and try to pretend like you're being original by just absorbing everything that's around you. You're just going to be an osmosis of everything, and it's not going to be you. You're not going to have that steel frame foundation, you know. And it takes a very long time to really be like there's originality comes in steps so small you'll miss it. You trip into it. You fall into originality.
That's
you
nice.
don't make yourself original. What I would suggest if people really want to be original, of course, there's aspects of making sure you're not listening to so much that you're subconsciously mimicking and things like that. but you have to be you have to make sure you're not afraid of sounding stupid. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to make yourself so uncomfortable. Do not be afraid to sound like a fool. Like everything that I do that I'm now known for, like being like this original beatboxer in the American scene, it's because I didn't care how I sounded. I cared about what I did feeling right. You know? Like that's why like I can do a bunch of crazy basses and stuff, but like not even as a plug, but like a good example is like my last Instagram story. I'm using the sound I use called the vocal flutter and the vocal roll. I'm just using those two sounds basically together. No basses, no nothing, but it just sounds nice to me. And some people would troll it because it wasn't like a true double voice, like the That's the vocal flutter. And people are like, oh, it's not a real double voice. Like I wasn't trying to make it into a real double voice. It sounds nice to me. But now, like it helps me control my voice in a way no one else in the scene does. And it's like it took years of me not caring what people said about the way I was expressing myself. And that's what you guys have to get to. You have to get to a point to where you don't care. You sound stupid if you're in jams and people aren't giving exclamation points to what you're doing. Like you're not getting your ego stroked by some dope drop or whatever. Because the more you get lost in what you're doing, the greater the likelihood you're going to trip into what you should be doing.
Yeah, the more it's you.
Yeah. That's what I would say.
Definitely. But yeah. No, he has a really good point. Like, not to compare anything, but like if you guys go back in that Swiss video that I did like 5 years ago now, I remember like that, and now it's a big video, but like when that thing first came out, and like you gotta scroll through some of the comments probably, but like I remember when it first came out, like I'm on Swiss, and I got nothing but hate. Like everyone was like, oh, he can lip roll, how cool. And I was like, damn, like you know what I'm saying. So like just like kind of what CTB was saying, like always do you, because like that's what I liked back in the day. It was lip rolls, that was my thing, and like everyone would always be like, oh, he can do lip rolls, cool, because that was like the trend back in 2016. You know, that's when Napalm showed up. So everyone was like, oh, he's just another Napalm. You know what I'm saying? So just always do your thing, because like I always got hate like that back then. And like I'm not to talk conceited, but like I'm pretty sure I'm one of the nicest dudes in the community. Like I don't have an ego. I don't start drama with people. Like I'm pretty, and like everyone like everyone back then was like, fuck this guy. And I was like, dude, I'm just doing me, you know? So like just kind of what, not to go on the whole thing, but like same thing with what Caleb said, like just do your thing. And like eventually, it sounds silly, but like eventually people are gonna be like, yo, you know, like a really good example in this server is Venevici. If you guys have ever heard him, he's part of the staff, and like he's always been like good, and all of a sudden the last like 4 or 5 months, everyone's like, what's happening? And it's like I don't think he's, you know, not to sound oh, he's here. Even not to like go off, but like I don't think he's, you know, no offense, Venny. I don't think Venny's staying up like 12 hours a day. Like I don't think he's doing that. I think what's happening is like he's finding his time to practice every day. He's making that consistency happen, but like he focuses on him. Like anytime he hits me up, he's like, yeah, I have this idea. Like check it. It sounds like no one, and I'm just like, nice, you know. Or he'll even tell me like, yeah, I did this back when I played bass, so I'm gonna try to do it with beatboxing. Like that's, you know, and that's why he sounds so him. Because he's not going like, oh, I got this from Reaps, I got this from, you know. So, just saying.
Absolute bars, bro. Absolute bars.
Yeah, 100%. So just that's all. Next person is Remy. Also, Irk. I hope that helped.
Yo, Kindo, thanks for this workshop once again. It
Anytime,
was been a
bro.
pleasure.
Anytime.
Always is.
Anytime.
Alright, so my question is about changing the BPMs mid song. Like I have this idea where I want to go from a simple house beat,
Got you.
from like 130 BPM into something like 90 BPM, and it would go like
Okay.
Like,
Gotcha,
is there
gotcha.
how do I practice this? How do you get a feel for how to slow down the tempo?
So, I think kind of okay. So one, and I know I know you can get these, but they're kind of, you might have to buy one. I know you can get a metronome where like you can set your you know what I'm saying? Like you can set it where like 16 bars, it's this, and then it goes in. You can do that. I would say, and this sounds silly. I know this is gonna sound like a silly word, but this is what it means. I would start looking on it's called retardandos. Okay. I could be wrong. I think you spell it like that. Basically, a retardando music wise means to slow the tempo down. So we're here, it's slowing down, and now we're getting here. See what I'm saying? So it literally would be like like you hear like you're almost like falling into that tempo. You can do those. So just saying, there's that. Or literally, if you like drill those tempos in your head. So let's say you're going from like 120 to like 90. Like just get those tempos in your head where you're going, and now you know it's coming up, and here we go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You know, so that's what I would say is really work on that. It sounds like you have the beat and the beat, and I feel like this is with everyone is that middle piece, the transition. A lot of people miss the fillers, and a lot of people miss the transitions. So I would really work just that transition, if that makes sense. So like let's say
it does.
Let's say you're going like and you go into like a or like something. Instead of working that whole thing, just work the whatever the build up it. Work that transition or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you're gonna do. But I would say work that part because you already have the idea where you want to go, and you already have the house groove. You know what I mean? So always try to. It sounds silly. I always tell people like your sounds are Lego pieces, and obviously Lego pieces are always just like. But like always try to find the one that's like wrong. Like I know that sounds weird, but like as a kid, like if you build Lego, it's like everything works cool, and then kids are always like, wait, and they take that one thing off. They're like, wait, and it's kind of the same thing. Like you got to find that one spot where you're like, wait, this, you know, and just kind of hammer that spot. But yeah.
Thank you. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
No problem, bro. No problem. Next is Lake Tsunami.
Yo, all right.
Hey.
So, hey. So I was wondering. This is a very probably generic question, but so I've recently been learning some like new sounds and stuff like that, and I've been struggling with like interpreting in English. Hold up, interpreting them into into like beats and stuff like that. And also, I've just been struggling with coming up with beats in general. So, do you have any advice on that?
So if you don't mind, give me an example of one of your ideas, and I'm gonna show you how you can break it down.
So like I guess like an idea that I've came up with is kind of like whoa 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 whoa. Oh.
Got you.
Something like that.
So
So I mean, that was structure wise probably wasn't the best, but that was like semi freestyle based off of an idea. So
no, I get where you're. I think we've all been there.
mhm.
So I would say that for you, you clearly, in a lot of beatboxers have this. You have the ideas, like they're there. Just try to think a little bit more outside the box. So I think right now you have that melody there, which is cool, but then it's staying there throughout the whole thing. And I get it, you said it was a freestyle, but just keep that in mind. Like, that's why, like, some of my stuff I would in my, like, in Kindo's head, in my head, like, I'm going like words need to be there or like a counter melody. So if I'm doing like I'm gonna like go into something completely different, or I'm gonna I don't know what, like, and words are gonna happen, you know. So I would say one of those two things. I would say try add a little bit more to it, or I'd say change that melody up. I think what's happening is you have what a lot of people are having, where you come up with the idea and then you stick on that idea. And I think a lot of people don't go like idea, what next, or what before. I think a lot of people just are like that. So like if I, like a lot of people, let me give you one example. So I have this one routine. It goes like, you would think it would be like, you know, so it would go into like a can you feel it now? Like it feels like it would go into something like that. But for me, I have the melody and I made a whole completely different counter melody. So it goes into see what I'm saying? Like, it has nothing to do with now this melody, but it's like I'm taking the same key. So I'm taking see what I'm saying? So that's what I would start working with you, is you have the melody. Now start taking like maybe that you were taking like the and you're going like that, maybe like do something with that after. You know, so you have this whole melody.
Got it.
And you words. It's stuff like that. So
yeah, other things I've been kind of doing, which just as ideas, okay, so I love rhythm. Okay, specifically, like, I love rhythm. Okay, I
gotcha.
listen to a lot of Disciple. I don't know if you know who that group is, but it's a big group of a whole bunch of people who produce along the lines of rhythm and other things like that, right? So I've been watching a lot of Vocoder. Okay, so I've been kind of more lately doing things like or whatever, stuff like that. And so those are completely different genres. So, and I almost wanted to, with that, interpret it into take that and then put it into rhythm, kind of. But it didn't work ever. So that's like other things, I guess. I don't know if I could, or you know.
Yeah, you definitely can. You're just gonna have to break it down. Kind of what I was telling you guys with the metronome stuff and the tempo. Like, really start counting in fours and listen to the spacing of the beat. So I think a lot of people are just listening.
Got it.
I think a lot of people are just listening to kind of what CTB said, which is a really good point. Kind of he was saying now dubstep kind of beat is a real crazy genre because there's so much happening that it's hard to hear the structure. He's not wrong. He's not wrong, like 100%. I would
there is definitely.
I would start breaking down the space. So like, if let's say you have that, you know, some drop that's just madness, like try listening to like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then try to listen if there's like a 1 and, because that happens a lot in rhythm where people will do like like that's on the upbeat and stuff, like, so start structuring that.
I actually produce like rhythm and stuff like that on the side, so I fully understand.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and I'm also a drummer, so
nice.
But yeah, I got you. That makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I will definitely that, because I didn't think of that, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Gotcha.
So yeah, thank you.
No problem. Next was Pain. if he's still here. Did Payne leave? Oh, Payne's here. He might have to type. I remember Payne always types his. Yeah, my mic, bro. You can type if you need to, bro. It's not a big deal. I remember you did that the last workshop too. Oh man, you don't have your mic either. A lot of my sounds. So if you're send me a Payne when you get a chance, bro. Send me a recording like on Instagram or something, you know. Because it's probably the same thing. I think you're probably doing what a lot of people do, kind of what I told you last time. I remember I told you were tightening. It's more about the airflow. I'm always gonna tell you the same thing, but I think a lot of people tend to focus on the like the inhale too much. I don't think a lot of people worry about the breath. And for inward bass or lip rolls or any of that, like it really does take some air. So I would work on trying to, and I tell everyone this, I would say work on your vocal fry. So like, right? And then from there, start working on that inhale. And it's going to you'll feel it in your throat. You're going to try to inhale. The sound will go away. Your throat's going to open up. You're going to get a lot of that. So what's happening is the throat is now opening up, but now you need more air to support the note to get it to. That's why you can kind of go from a vocal fry into inward bass, because it's same thing. It's just the air. Like, right. So just keep that in mind for your inward bass. But send me a recording whenever.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, let's go. So I could never, like, you told me to do the thingy where I close my mouth and like, and so like it almost never improved. So I ended up just doing like way, like it hurts more, and like eventually it stopped hurting. So like that one for some reason sounds like better and deeper than when I just.
Sorry, do both of them for me. Your mic kind of cut out. It sounds like it's there. Like kind of the same thing I was just saying. Like it's your air. I think you just need to build that breath up and develop it more. Like a lot of people miss that with inward bass. Like I said, they just think it's the throat, and it's really the breath support. You know, can you support the note? But I think that's it. I don't think it's your age or anything, because there's kids who are 12 and 11 and 10 on Beatbox International. They're dropping inward. They're going stuff like that. So it has to be the breath that you're taking. But if you're feeling one that's like causing you a little bit of throat pain, that's not to sound silly. That one's probably inward bass. Inward bass kind of tends to make people cough, or kind of makes people's throat seem uncomfortable. So the fact that you were saying that could be it. So I would just keep working it, bro. But this one's going to be a process. Inward bass and lip rolls were my inward K. Those were like my 3 hardest sounds ever.
Oh, I got really, really lucky with lip rolls that I learned them in like 2 weeks.
Nice. But yeah.
All right, well, yeah, that's about it. I don't have a recording of my old throat bass, so I don't know if my throat bass improved. But you mind if I like do it?
Yeah, go for
it.
Yeah, definitely. You can hear that. You can hear it starting to come in. Sounding good.
All right, well, that's it.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Next is, where's he at? Is Matt. Easy Matt.
Yo, Ash, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, bro, what's up?
Chilling. How you doing, bro?
Yeah. So my question is, lately I feel like I've been stuck on the same kind of patterns. Like whenever I practice with a metronome, I seem to be doing the same patterns repeatedly. So, like, can you tell me
So
anything about it? Like,
yeah, my
Yeah.
my rule for all my beatbox students is don't get comfy. If anyone, Remy, Yuri was in here earlier, Venny was in here. All my beatbox students, I tell them the same thing. So same thing I'm telling you, like, don't ever let yourself get comfortable. That's how you're gonna get stuck. I think a lot of people will like I have a lot of, for one example, I have a literally a beatbox friend who's doing this right now. He just learned vibration bass, but now everything he does, like he'll be freestyling and he's just always, and I'm like, dude, and he's like, oh, and I literally tell him, I'm like, what happened to what happened to that crazy sound you used to do? And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, and I feel like a lot of people do this where we're like, oh, I forgot I can do this. I forgot I can do, right? Don't let yourself get comfortable. So if you're like, oh, I think you said the kick, the BDB thing, that, let's just say that's the combo you're stuck on, or even let's just say it's something like let's say it's that. What I would do is two things. Start recording yourself on your phone. So literally just, if you're going to freestyle in the bathroom, just turn your phone on and hit record and then just sit there and start doing your thing. The good thing about this is you can listen back to some of your recordings. And if you hear like every time I'm like, and I'm always doing that, like I can go back and listen to that and be like, like I can do that. Okay, I can, cool. So like I need to do something else with it. Okay, let me so this is where my advice would be for you. Either change the rhythm so you get different stuff, or just literally force yourself away from that technique. So for example, back in the day, kick rolls, everyone did those. And I wanted to be able to do them. So once I figured them out, I just started using them a ton. I'd literally just like I just started going off. That's when I was like, okay, let me try to not do like everyone else. So I turned it into like that thing, turned it into like just a super fast roll one. Like I had to kind of break myself out of that double, because I always did that, you know? So now it's like when I freestyle, rather than always just like all the time doing that, it changed to like those, or it turned to like stuff like that. So now it's like you can start, rather than just the whole time. Now I had to start like, you have to start kind of working it. Either take the technique you have and start breaking it into sections. Right? I think a lot of people think the technique is just this. Like, you can do so much with it. You can there's so many things you could do with it, you know? So either expand the sound, or just for a little bit, since you know you have that technique, you know you got it, break away from it for a little bit. I've done that a lot. I tend to do a lot of lip rolls, so I'll be like, oh, okay, you know, I'll just go into something, I'm like, whoa, you do that. You can already do that. Pause, you know, and I have to force myself to get out of that. So that would be my big thing for you, is if you're realizing you're stuck on those combos, don't use those combos. And yeah, you're going to be like, oh, I feel like I suck now. Or you'll be like, oh, I feel less. Like, no, it's not that you're less. It's just you're still figuring things out. Like, I'm 7 years into, dude, I'm still figuring things out every day, you know, like every single day. So you just kind of have to sit there and just work it and work. Like last year, I did a lot of right? So like this year, rather than trying to throw that in all my beats, I was like, maybe I can do something. So like right now I have a build up, and it's nothing crazy, but like and it's like there's nothing with it yet. I don't have anything but it's just like I'm trying to, rather than all the time just like how I was and always adding, I was like, let me try to throw it in a different sense. Let me try it this way. Let me try it that. You got to expand those techniques. So yeah, I hope that helps a little.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, bro. No problem. Just don't let yourself get comfy, and always make combos and stuff. That's cool, but never get used to that combo. Like, how to say that? Get used to it where it's effortless, where obviously you can do it, but don't make it like your only thing. Like if I go, it's like, cool, I got that down. I'm next. I'm not the next day. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna try different stuff. You know what I mean? So just saying. But yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, no problem. And then next is Han Production. I felt like I said that wrong. Han H. I could totally be wrong. But yeah. Do you have a question? You can type it too, just saying. If you need to. Or you can unmute your mic, either or.
Yeah.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi. First.
Hey.
So my question is, CTB tried to help me in the comment section, but my question is about making fillers with metronome. How we can practice and learn them?
Gotcha.
Like there's a 4-sec beat, you said, and there's a filler, a transition, and again there's a filler.
Yep.
I mean the 4-sec. So my biggest problem is the fillers, the transition, how we can learn them in metronome.
Got you.
With those three.
Got you. So fillers and metronome. I mean fillers and metronome. Fillers and transitions are like, they're similar, but they're different. What I mean is this. So fillers would be more of like, keep in mind like this. I always think fillers are like the details of the beat. Your transitions are how you're going to get to the next part of the beat or the next part of your song. Okay. So for example, if I'm doing like a house groove, if I'm doing like a hip hop groove. So like, that's just the beat, right? Let's say I wanted to add some like fillers, and let's say the filler I wanted to add in is that. So you're going to take that beat and it literally you're going to fill in that beat. Okay. That's what a filler is. So like this can turn into like, right? That's kind of how you would take a filler and change the beat. Now you can also do both, where you take the beat and you add your fillers, not to be all confusing, but you can also just take your that's a actual filler. That's a filler. Okay. People do it with tech, so you'll hear people like all those little, that's a filler. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're working on a metronome. A filler just means like, how can I add almost more to this beat? So it just kind of, I don't want to say accents it, but it makes it a little bit more, a little bit bigger. Okay. A transition would be like, let's say I'm going from let's say I'm doing a hip hop beat and I'm going to do a hip hop drop with scratches. How you get into that beat would be the transition. So what I mean is this. I'm going to show you both. So here's a filler that uses scratches. So if I'm going like, right? That's a filler. If I'm going to do a transition, it would be more like it would be something like that. That little how I got into that beat, that's the transition, if that makes sense. So to work both of those on the metronome, it sounds silly, but count in fours again, start yourself kind of simple. Really work, I would say, on that spot. So let's say you can freestyle. Let's say you can just, and let's say if I'm like, do grime, you can like like let's say you're doing that, right? Which is cool. You would want to, like I said, you want to listen to that. So like one real quick example. It's like if I'm doing grime, right? Hear how much space, like there's so much space in between that. So a filler, you could fillers. Now if I'm going like that's a transition. See what I'm saying? So I hope that helps a little bit. You really are gonna have to work this one on the metronome. And for transitions, it sounds a little silly. Transitions, like you know how we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me show you real quick. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, forgot we're at 120. Sorry. I'm gonna go to like 140. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The transition tends to happen on the 3 and the 4. It's like watch. If I'm doing a grime beat, you'll hear the like. You'll hear that transition happen. Tends to happen either on a full 1 to 4 or happens 3 to 4. 1, 2, so if I'm 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here out. It took 4 beats, right? Or some people do it like this, where 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and they go into it. See what? So keep that in mind too. Hopefully that helps a little bit more. Always make your transition. Well, not always, but just for you to start and kind of get an idea. Start your transitions either a full bar where you're like, drop now, and we go into it, or make it where it's like the last 2. You know, so like, and you go into it. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah, it helps so. I can't even explain so.
For sure.
So finally, I understand what like River said, like this, the details, the fillers.
Yep.
So 100%. I thought it's the same, but it's not.
No,
it makes sense now.
Dude, yeah.
And no, I know how to practice it.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
Ish.
Anytime. Ish. Sick. We got 5 people left. Oh no, we got 4 people left. I forgot. I already plugged my boy Kevin. Let's see. Cypher, not Cypher. Where you at?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is my mic like, because it's buzzing every time? Is it good?
No. You sound good right now. You sound good.
So if you know, like my question is, like whenever I practice with metronome, I want to like freestyle with it, and I do the same flow every time, and I don't come up with a new flow, and that's my problem. Like I want to come up with a new flow so I can like pull up my ideas so I can make a good routine out of it. I stuck with one flow and I cannot change it.
So, give me an example real quick. Let me see.
Like. Like that, or like that, like grime. I do grime a lot, but I start with one flow, and I cannot change that. If you know the fire, is like one of my inspiration for doing flows, good flows, but like I cannot change. Yeah, gotcha. I cannot change my flows.
So
that's all. I stuck with one flow.
Yeah, I got you. I get you. So I would start for you, because it sounds like you have the ideas. It's just kind of like what you said. You're kind of figuring out where to put them and stuff. And I think with you just need to, and it, not to sound silly, I really think you just need to start working on a metronome, because like you said, you do a lot of grime, which is fine. So let's say like I'm here and let's say that's it, but you're trying to go into like a, you know, like how FIVERR does, where you're trying to like something crazy, right? So like you just have to keep that tempo, you know? So if I can literally, it sounds silly, you can go from grime to something ridiculous like rhythm. It's just the tempo is going to have to stay here. So you can like, Yo, and we drop it with the rhythm like this, like yo. Like, see what I'm saying? You can do it. You can do it's just you gotta keep that tempo there. So I would say for you, because I've heard you beatbox before too, you're good. Like you have the ideas, you're solid, bro. I would just start working on that metronome. And if you're like, I'm gonna do dubstep, okay, so then just you know what I mean, kind of start it there. Or if you want to do grime and go into dubstep, you know, you can
I never thought of that. That's actually a good idea.
Back to the dubstep. You can go back and forth, you know, it's just the tempo. So that's all. I think that's all you need.
I think that's a good. I never thought of that. Like every time I practice, like Yuri told me, if you have good sounds, you need to practice with metronome, and I tried it like with grime, and I mastered to put my snares on the time with grime, but other genres no. Like,
Got you.
Yuri helped me a lot, but that's actually a good idea. I never thought I can do another go from grime to dubstep with the same tempo.
Gotcha.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
But I have another question.
Yeah, go for it.
People have been saying my inward bass is so dry.
Okay.
Like it's in a good way. They say it's unique, it's dry, but I don't want it to be dry. So it's like, wait. It's like that.
Sounds
but
fun.
I want it to be liquidy and more like not be dry.
Like that
if
low.
You know what I mean.
You're trying to get that low tone to it?
Yeah, I want it to be like Dilo's, but not exactly like Dilo. I want it to be not dry. That's all I want. Because it's not. I'm not comfortable to do my own inward bass.
Okay, I get you. Well, just know this. I mean, you just hit that note and it sounded fine. You know, I don't think that sounded dry or anything. It sounded pretty good. So I would say one of two things. If you're trying to get if you're trying to get D-Lows inward, you're on the right direction. It sounds weird, but I would call his like drier than anyone's. That's why his is so, because he's tightening a lot when he's doing that inward. So, if you're trying to get D-Lows, I would say tighten more, get it more dry. I know that's weird.
Yeah, even Zeka knows how to do D-Lows inward bass. That's my fucking.
Right. And it's all the tightening in the. It goes from to like I can't do it, but they tighten it like really hard in the top of the throat.
People been saying the stitch voice. They say like all of the tutorials say like do the but inward. Every time I do it, like I don't feel comfortable, and it's not the sound I wanted to get. It's not like deals inward bass. I get like. That's all I get. I don't like.
I mean, it sounds silly to say it too, but it kind of just depends on like. It really depends how you speak, and I know it sounds weird. I just notice a lot of like everyone talks about D-Lo inward, but like I've noticed a lot of UK beatboxers, they all kind of have that inward in a sense, like you know. So I think we can all like achieve the tone you want. It just might take a little bit extra work. You really have to, like I said, you're gonna have to control that. How to say this? You're gonna have to really control the tightening of your throat. And another thing, if you're trying to get it like, how to say this, wetter, because you were saying you don't like how dry it is, I would start working it. And it sounds silly, I know I keep saying it, but I would work it on a metronome. I'm not kidding. Like if you have that,
how does that work? Working on metronome.
I got you. So one, to develop it more and get more control, I would hum it, because I always tell anyone this with any bass. I think opening your mouth is cool and you can cool, but when you do it through your nostrils and you have these tiny little nose holes versus your mouth, which allows a lot of airflow, and you make it harder on yourself, well, when you go to do this one, it's going to be a piece of cake. That's kind of, not to sound conceited, I never realized I had a good inward till last year. I did the inward bass tutorial and everyone's like, you have a great inward. And I was like, I've never really worked it. I've just always gone versus and all that stuff, right? So I think it developed through the nose, like just hardcore. Just saying. So work it. Just literally, you would start doing like rhythms. So you can do like in your mouth. You can do like nah. So you get notes like if I go nah nah nah, you can right. So I would just sit there and just. And just like literally sit there, work that. The other thing you can do, since you're trying to get it wetter, I would work O's, because when you go to O, it tends to open your throat up a little bit more, and you'll push to a deeper note or get the wetter tone you're looking for. Like it gets to that lower liquidier. When you get to the once you hit that, you can just roll it, and that's the liquid thing. So I mean, yours sounds fine. Like I said, I would just keep working it.
So I have another question. That's my last question.
Go for it.
Can I show you my half of my routine, and you tell me what can I do to improve my routine?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do just half of it. With the gram. With the gram. With the gram. With the gram. That part, the last part, I feel like the drums, when I do the double voice part, it's so weak. And like I'm a type of guy to want to battle on stage. I'm not an online guy. But the drum that I do with the it sounds so weak. Even though I listen to it myself, it sounds so weak for myself. I wanna improve that drum to do do more powerful drums, and I need an idea for that.
Yeah, so I would start working it on the metronome. Like, not trying to call you out. I can hear it that you worked some of that on the metronome. You can hear that you didn't work on it. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being honest. I didn't even practice on metronome. None of them. Got you. That's the one thing I would say work on. That's literally the metronome's gonna get. It's gonna get everything where it's not. How to say this? It's not that you're struggling, but like the metronome will get it where you're not even having to think. Like everything will just hit. It'll just flow a lot natural. But yeah, I would work it, like I said, on the Met, because your ideas you have are fine. The way you're putting everything, fine. It's just the tempo is like off, and you're kind of rushing. And I think because when people rush, we're fast, everything's sped, so now everything gets sloppy. I think that's what you're hearing. Is you're like, when I get to this part, how come my drums aren't like it was at the beginning? And that's where it's kind of working on the metronome, and that consistency will build for sure.
Thanks, man. That helped me a lot.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
Okay.
We got 3 more. Carvings is next. A. He's gonna type it. Let's go. It's always so suspenseful when it's like so and so is typing. It's like, oh. For real. The suspense. Drum roll. No. Let's see. My boy's still typing. It's about to be a good question. So I watched a video from Antilt about Inward, and he said he learned his sounds from practicing other people's beats. Yeah, I get that. Notice though, kind of what I was telling you guys earlier. I'm sorry, I'm spacing who asked the question, but someone was telling me that they were like, oh, I'm getting stuck in my combos. Antilt's like the perfect example of that. I don't mean that, but he does what we all do. He listens to beatboxers. He goes, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. He learns it, and then he breaks away from the scene completely, and he just does his thing. Kind of what both me and CTB were saying earlier. You got to do stuff that you like. I feel like Antilt's the definition of that. I feel like he took double voice. He took poly. He took the lip rolls. He took all these things, and then he has those weird like with the whistle, that thing he does. Like he's come up with stuff from other people, I think for sure. Like he's learned his sounds. Like he probably heard, like, not to be random, probably heard like Shogo and was like, what's this double voice thing back in the day? He learned it, and then he's like, cool, turn it into my own thing, you know? So I don't know if that kind of helps, but I don't think Antilt really, here's the thing, no one sounds like Antilt. No one sounds like him, you know? So I think taking sounds from other people, that's fine, because I literally can do, not trying to talk conceited, but like I can do sounds where you'd be like, oh, that's that guy's sound. Yeah, but you don't hear me using it like that, you know? So for example, like the whole, example, Vocoda's inward, like like I have that, I don't use it like him. I have the flick it down. I don't use it like that, but I have the, like, see what I'm saying? I have lip rolls, but you don't hear me. You can't roll like this, like, I don't, you know, turned it into my own thing. Like, even the meow squeak that everyone does, like, I turned it into doubles. And so it's just like, you can always learn sounds from anyone. I think that's fine, but don't steal their stuff. For example, like a really good one is I got that from Inertia, but you don't hear me doing like his routines, and I'm like, you know, I got the money and it's straight, like I'm not doing his stuff, you know. So hopefully that helps. Don't be afraid to learn sounds because of other people. I'm not trying to limit you. So if you hear someone come up with quadruple voice and you're like, oh my god, that's fine. Learn it. Please learn it. But if that guy goes like, don't go, don't do the same thing. Turn it into your own. That's all, you know? I think that's the biggest problem with beatboxers, is, not to go on a rant, but I think that's the biggest problem is a lot of people, like I said, they copy. They don't take inspiration. They literally take it. They literally take it. Like I've had 3 beatbox students of mine who literally go, I go, yeah, but that's reckless, right? But they're like, no, but it's different. I go, but it's the same thing. Or like I've had one of my beatbox students, he took one of my routines. He's like, I drop it like, and I was like, wow, that's funny. That sounds like I create my, and he just like looked at me, and I was like, so like, take inspiration 100%. Don't take it. Okay? Like, I take inspiration from everyone. For God's sake, I can't even, half the sounds I can't even, CTB, not trying to call him, but he's here. I can't do the vocal roll, but you'll hear me go like, I'll literally go, nah, like in my, just because I can't do it. But it's like, if I'm going to use it for something, oh, that's how I'm going to have to do it, you know? But you won't hear me like, you don't want to go to war. Like, I'm not going to do his stuff. I'm not going to take it, but I'm going to take like I'm going to take inspiration. Like, dude, that's cool. I want to be able to do that, you know? Things like that. So hopefully that helps. But yeah. And then, let's see. Next was Ripple Beatbox.
Yo.
Hey.
Yo. Okay, so basically I have 2 questions. One is about my unique noise. Well, I think it's unique. And I don't know how to put it into my routines. So I was asking advice if you would know where to like put it.
Got you. Go for it.
There's 3 different variations.
Okay.
So there's the click roll.
Got you.
There's the inward bass. And then there's just nothing. So
got you.
It's kind of hard to mess around with it, but
and I'm not trying to expose your sound, because if that's like your special thing, that's your special. Are you doing that inwards or outwards? That's all I'm gonna ask you. I'm not gonna ask you how to do it.
Inward.
Okay. So I would say with the there's those two variations. I think you just did with the inward bass and what was the other one? It was like a
click roll.
Click roll, not lip roll. My bad. With those, you're gonna have to kind of mess with the. It sounds like you have the sound. Those ones are kind of like I always do this with myself, where I have sounds that take a lot of breath, if that makes sense. But I have I have the sound. It's just the amount of breath it takes. Those two, I think you're really gonna have to work on a metronome. And I know I keep sounding like a broken record. I keep repeating myself, but what I mean is I don't mean with the beats. I think getting the breath under control is what's gonna make those be able to be used in beats. So for example, like I used to go, but it's all inwards. Like I used to go, but I couldn't do it in a beat. So I literally just had to sit there on a metronome and just, you know what I mean? And it took a while, but like now I have that into a whole routine and stuff. I think with those two, you're gonna have to do that. As far as the one by itself, I'm assuming it's less harder alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that one, I would say really, and that it's kind of, how to say this? I would say work that one too, again on a metronome, but work that one more basics. So if you're going like, try to like either go like with the sound like, so you can start getting an idea of where you can place it, or you can even, if you want to, let's say you get that down and you want to make it harder, start putting it in between each one. That would be great. So, and you win. So you can kind of get an idea of like, okay, this is how I'm going to have to breathe on this type of technique and stuff like that. Like I have a lot of people do that thing. So I do that, like, that's like it's like a T and then like a, like peh, like, and like that thing takes a lot of breath, you know, so I had to sit there and really just work it and just sit there, boots and cats and stuff like that.
Yeah, but with the sound, with the just like the nothing, you can change it by so like
it's like inward. It's like an inward post snare almost.
Yeah, I'm trying not to suffocate myself.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I was just wondering on. But yeah, I see what you mean by working with the metronome.
Yeah, so even if it's inwards, and let's say you want to get that on like a snare, I would literally just sit there. You know what I mean? Or if you know what I mean? Like I would just sit there super slow at first. It will, I promise you, like if you work it basically, if that make like in the basics, it will progress the more you work it. But yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
For sure.
And the second question was, I use sucker punches pretty frequently now. So
nice.
The pattern that I've been doing is, but whenever I do that, I run out of breath.
Got you.
So I end up doing like to get air, and then it just doesn't work with the rest of the beat.
Got you. Two things you can do here. One, work it again. I don't mean it. Sorry, but work it on a metronome and just sit there and just sit there on it, and then start adding the snare and just work that. Or let's say it's taking a lot of outward breath on this breath pattern, and you need to figure out some type of in. I would redo that breath pattern, but somehow inward. So what I mean is this. I used to have your problem where I'd go, but I'm like running out of like outwards breath, even though I'm breathing back and forth. So which now everyone does this too. I don't think I made this combo up. I think beatboxers, we all just figured this out. But you can end up going inwards. So I used to like, see what, and it fits right in that beat. You can do stuff like, just try working that too. I do this with a lot of my combos where I'll work it outwards and then I try to figure out some variation inwards. So I have both.
Yeah. I've been trying to put the cough snare into it.
Okay.
So I can just get a bit of outward breath So like it would be. It's not really a cough snare. It's in between.
Yeah, it's just getting the breath out. I feel you.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, keep working it for sure. It sounds like you're on the right track, you know. Just keep that in mind though. You don't have to you don't have to just, because you're running out of breath, you don't have to just substitute for a sound. I think a lot of us do that. Try to either one, like I said, kind of mess with it on the metronome where the breathing becomes more natural, or try to come up with a transition that works the other way. It's like if I was doing your beat, that's exactly what I would do. Like that's what I would do to catch my breath right there.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
I get you. So thank you.
No problem, bro. No problem. We got two more. That's such a cool sound. We got two more. Violence is next. If he's here. Oh, he's here. Oh, he's typing. Oh shit. No, you're good. So here, I'll Oh no, you're good.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah. There you are.
All right, perfect. First of all, I'm like very nervous because this is the first time talking to you, and like.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
I'm from Germany, so excuse me for my like language mistakes or something.
No, you're good.
I have two questions, and first of all, it's like I really do have problems with combining like two sounds. For example, like I'm good with my inward bass, like, but I really do have problems with like combining it with a click roll, or like I know I'm just doing beatbox for 3 months now, but I'm really trying hard, and it's hard to know when your sounds are developed enough for like to know if that's enough for combining these two sounds.
I think this, and I kind of have a weird mindset on it. I think a sound can always progress. I think that's why Alem, his basics hit so hard. I just think that there's never I definitely think you can like how, you know, how people say you master a sound. I don't really believe in that, because I feel like you can always do something more. You may not be thinking about it right now, but like you can always do something. So just kind of keep that in mind. I think you should just use it. If you kind of what CTB was saying earlier, where he was saying if you want to, like, if that's you and that's what you want to do, then like do it. Don't hold yourself back because, you know, it's not progressed or anything like that. Like it's gonna progress the more you use it, so might as well just use it, you know. As far as the layering the sound stuff, like the two set, like the and all that stuff, obviously we're going like inward, and now you're adding the roll, so now it's double inward, so double the breath in a sense, you know. That's why it's probably really
Sure.
It's probably why it's a little tricky for you right now. I had this happen with lip rolls. I had this happen with inward bass when I would try to go like with a K. I tried to go like, I could not go, like it was too much breath. So I think for now you're kind of what I said is, I keep forgetting who asked what question. Someone asked about inward earlier, and I told them to hum it. I would say do the same thing for you. So even if right now you're just doing like something simple, like even if it's something small like that, like work on that inhale and then try to work, like you can do like nah inward, so you can like, and start working like, you know, and just literally work on that and keep working your inward. I think what's happening is you kind of have what we all have had, where the lungs need to build more, you know, so you can control it better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's like one of my problems is like, I can't get the click roll slower, if you know what I mean. Like it's still like the yeah, it's like that, and it's really hard to combine that with the inward bass. Like it's not really the click roll I want.
Right there, you kind of right at the end it went da 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 da. Like you heard it roll just a little. So
yeah, for sure. But it sounds with your inward bass with the click roll, it sounds a lot more liquid and
right.
yeah, that's kind of what I approach.
Just work on
I'm approaching.
Just work that inhale, bro, for sure.
And I really do. Can I like do another question?
Yeah, of course.
Real quick. Shout out to Gunny though. I'm not trying to let him wait. I worked on my my inward regs, like just like you explained in your videos, the thing. And I kind of struggle with the intensity of my sounds. Like, it sounds really weak.
Quiet, yeah. I get you.
Like really quiet.
So,
yeah.
I'm gonna show you real quick, and I'm not trying to show. I just want to show you what I mean. So, like, when you want to work your breath, like your breathing techniques, you really got to work these ones. Because here's the thing: when we do any, like, even that, we're going like it's going 2, like, or I guess 3 to 1. So we're going 3 to 1, right?
Yeah.
That's where you have to. So right now it's like this. It's like there's 3, there's 1. So it's still gonna stay 3 to 1. But let's say since I'm going right, rather than just trying to breathe, like I have to in my head go, okay, light, heavy. So I literally am going like trying to put so
yeah.
And that's how you have to find the balance. And this literally goes for, I don't care if you're doing the or even if you're like, if you anything you do, like you're gonna have to find that balance of like, I'm doing 2 or I'm doing 3 and I'm doing 1, things like that. I have to do this with all my breathing patterns, even the crazy lip roll stuff. Like real quick, if I do like I'm literally thinking 7-2, like it's going 7 to 2, going dig da and I have to think of that rhythm and like, okay, every that I get, I have to really breathe out on that one, stuff like that. So
yeah,
I would
that makes absolutely sense.
Work it at sorry to everyone in the chat. I keep repeating myself. Work it on a metronome, but really start focusing on let's say you're going like, let's say you start it right, and this happened to me where it would start strong and it kind of got weak, so it'd go like, and it's still there, but it's like it got quiet. What happened was I was inhaling too much, and I wasn't enough. So maybe just start working on that and focus on maybe you're inhaling too much, or maybe you're not breathing out hard enough. Maybe you're breathing out too much, and it's when you go to breathe it, really got to focus on the balance.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, man. That helped a lot.
Anytime, bro. Anytime. And then last but not least, we got Benny.
What's poppin'?
Get out of here. No, I'm kidding. What's up, bro?
Bro. Just like an interest question. I don't care about beatbox anymore. I just want to ask you if you want to make a shout out tomorrow.
I could.
Because weekly battle stuff. We start at 7 o'clock time over here. This would be like 11 o'clock for you.
AM
in the morning.
Tomorrow?
Yes. Wait, not tomorrow. On Friday. What the fuck? Friday.
Thank God you told me.
Sorry, bro. I just woke up.
You could. 11 a.m.
Yeah, I think this would be 11 a.m. For us. It's like so we start at 19. This is 7
here
p.m.
Whatever. This sounds
probably.
What's your time? Do you know what your time zone is?
ECT, European Central Time.
ECT to PST. Let's see. So, what time is it?
It's so we start at 7 in the evening. So
that
PM.
would be. It looks like 4 my time.
The fuck? Yeah.
7,
I don't think so. You're
7 p.m. Yeah,
yes.
It says 4. It says 4 p.m. my time. I don't think that's right. Hold on. Okay, Benny. Fine.
We need to make this shit clear. What the fuck?
Do this. Yeah.
PST.
Yeah, that's my time zone. Should be Pacific Standard Time. Or it might even just be PT.
ECT and
because right now, if it's in the morning, I can do it. If it's in the afternoon, I can't. I got stuff's going on.
What the fuck? I don't get it. No, what the fuck?
Okay, here, hold on. Here, message me after the workshop about it.
Yeah,
just hit me up about
it. We make it clear there. What the fuck?
We'll figure it out.
Bro.
Bro.
ECT isn't even. It's Ecuador time. I'm just a retarded ass fucker.
I was trying to figure it out.
Oh my god! Central European time is my CET. Isn't it Central? I'm so dumb. I can't even manage a fucking server, bro.
You're good.
Central European time. 19.
So 7 is 10 in the morning. I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, so we start there. I don't know if you want to. I'll probably host it because Vaney needs to work.
You need me to judge? Yeah. Or am I just doing like a...
No, like a showcase if you want to.
Oh shit, I'm down. I'll do that. I'll just pop in real quick. I got time.
You can even. I think we have the judges for this time.
Okay. If you need one, let me know because I am free that morning. So.
Sure, bro.
Just let me know.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This was my question.
For sure.
Dafür about that. Kiss your nuts.
Yeah. That was so. I'm pretty sure we got through every. I didn't miss anybody, right? We're good. Several people are typing. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. Lake. Sorry, totally forgot. Lake, you had one more. Sorry, totally forgot. What was your last one? My bad. Sorry.
So, I know Volon actually kind of went like asked the same question, but I was wondering for me specifically. So I've been trying to get the what is it? Like it's like the slizzer roll but inward with inward bass or whatever. I've been trying to get that. And so I think the slizzer roll. I think I have that right, but
Gotcha.
I can't add that onto the inward bass because I can do inward bass. Yo, wow, right? But I can't. When I try to add it on, the inward bass just completely goes away. Like it's like one or the other. That's what ends up happening. So I was wondering if you had any idea on why that would be happening, or.
So it sounds like. So if I do and I do it without the voice, it's literally like maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing inward OD like.
Oh.
With it.
Got it.
I know some people are doing the slizzer roll. Yours sounds too loose. I can't do slizzer rolls either, but slizzer rolls have that like have that sound to it. Yours is kind of like flapping. Maybe the tongue placement's off or something, like just a little.
Maybe.
That could be causing
it's more similar to like a click roll, but I have no clue exactly what it is. If that makes sense. So I called it a slizzer roll just because that's what I think it is, but I could be completely wrong. Like I could turn on my camera and show you what it looks like if you wanted, but
it just sounds like the tongue needs to get more sharper. Like it sounds like the roll is happening, but it's just the tongue's still too relaxed right now. So it's causing like too much flap. I think that could be it.
Okay. Because with that exact thing, if I close my mouth in a certain way, I've been able to like get like a almost like a how do I like that, if that makes sense. So I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds cool. So
definitely. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could be just progressing it too. Like maybe one day it's gonna hit. That could be it too.
Well, before I used to when I did an inward click roll, which actually I don't know that I can do an actual like fast like inward click roll anymore. Like I used to get it through both sides of my tongue. Now it's only one side of my tongue, if that makes sense. And when I got it through both sides of my tongue, it sounded really fast and it just didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know because
So-
I don't really do clip. I can't twist my tongue, so my tongue's always using the tip. Like,
Well,
I can do that one, but I can't.
That's kind of same.
I can't get the. Some people twist their tongue, and that's how they get that slizzer roll.
I've seen Azelle do that. I can't really do that either, but I end up like what I do is I basically just direct it towards the right side of my tongue, and it makes that noise, and it's slower and relaxed, but so yeah, I don't know what it is, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know either. I would just I would either just keep working it or trying to do inward, but start messing with tongue position. Like start moving your tongue around and see if there's a spot that hits. I kind of had to do that with lip rolls. I didn't ever realize my tongue was always in the way. I was always going.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
I never realized my tongue wasn't relaxed.
I remember it took me probably like half a year to get a lip roll, if not more, and it's still not the best. Or sorry, and I still struggle. I breathe in too much when I do one of the like a big like or whatever. But I've been getting a little bit better with it. But that was the last question I asked last time I was in a workshop was about that actually.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just keep working it, man. Keep working it. Like I said, mess with that tongue position.
All right, got it. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Pretty sure that was everyone. Whatchamacallit, Steve-O, send me your question on Instagram, bro. I got you. But yeah, guys, that was the workshop for today. We actually ended a half hour early. So what that means is you guys know, if you guys got to go, that's fine. Please feel free to go. I don't want to keep you guys here and tie you up too long. But if you guys want to, go to Beatbox Jam Sesh 2. And wait, what am I saying? I fixed the event jam. Never mind. Go to the event jam and we'll have a workshop jam for a little bit, and that's how we'll wrap up the workshop. But yeah, I'm good if you guys are good. If you guys have any other questions, I got Instagram, Facebook. You can hit me up on Discord. Anything. Hit me up. I will answer all your guys' other questions. I don't mind. But yeah, let's all head. If you guys are free, let's all head over to the event jam. I'll see you guys there. And yeah, thank you for coming to the workshop. Thank you guys. Massive shout out to CTB for creating my logo. From the Kindo logo, the Human Beatbox logo, and more. CTB has created a ton of popular logos you guys see in the beatbox scene today. If you need your own custom logo, be sure to find CTB on his social medias. I put them in the description below. And while you're down there checking the description below, be sure to find me on all of my social media. From Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, everything. I'm on it all. You can find them in the description below. I recently just started doing Friday live streams on Instagram and Saturday live streams on YouTube as well, so be sure to find my social medias and keep up to date with everything. Have you heard of the World of Beatbox? It's my Discord server where we throw weekly jams and game nights. Once a month on the server, I throw a workshop as well where I teach you some of my best tips, tricks, and advice with beatbox. I'll answer all of your guys' questions, and then we have a big jam after the workshop. I left a link for you guys in the description below. Check it out. I hope to see you guys on the server soon. Head on over to my Patreon for a ton of exclusive Kindo content, from monthly lessons to behind the scene footage, bloopers, exclusive tutorials, Kindo merch, and more. There's so much happening on my Patreon. Check it out in the description below. Do you need a specific type of beatbox? Maybe you need a custom beat, or even want a personal Kindo shout out? From beatboxing in movie scenes, to commercials, to even beatboxing for the Santa app on Alexa, I've literally done it all. Find me on FIVERR so we can discuss more on what specifics you're looking for or what you need. Link in the description below. And last but not least, thank you for watching. Please give a like and subscribe as it helps my channel a ton. I upload 2 or more videos for you guys every single week, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the content lately. Thank you again, and have yourself a blessed day.